Right, in this video we're going to be talking about the ternary operator, and it's something that's very unique. You're going to have to think a little bit about it before you use it. It's a real quick one-liner code that can definitely make your code look a lot cleaner. We're going to show you how we're going to go from maybe 4 or 5 lines down to maybe 3 lines, and it's just a real slick way to kind of do a real quick, simple if-else check. Right? So let's go ahead, dive into Visual Studio Code here. And you can see that I have my setup here, Python lessons, ternary operator. That's how you pronounce that, ternary operator. And again, the ternary operator is a conditional operator that returns a value. So it doesn't have to be truthy, falsy, or anything like that, but it just returns a value based upon the condition. And I think the best way to think about this is, let's take a look at a generic if statement, and then we're going to show you how slick it is to have a ternary do the work rather than an if-else statement. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and convert an if statement, an if-else statement, to a ternary operator utilizing this simple structure. So let's first get the in here. We're going to set that at 20. Next, we're going to come up with an if statement saying if we are older than or equal to 18, we're going to print out you're an adult. So print you're an adult. Else, we're going to go ahead and print out you're a minor. Now, again, if we save this, run this, this is what we've been doing so far in your modules, in your lectures. This should be second nature to you of understanding what's going on. All right, so here comes the tricky part. Well, not so tricky, but you'll have to just do a little bit of thinking about it. So we're going to again set the age to 20. And I want to put both of these up here real quick just so that we can take a look at exactly what's going on. So we need to break this up into a couple things. We want to say, hey, the message that we want to have is either you are an adult or you're a minor, right? Those are our only 2 options. And so what we're going to do is we're going to throw in at the very beginning, what would you like to have happen if it is true? So if it is true, if our condition is true. So let's go ahead and put that. I want to have it say you're an adult. If it's true, it's an adult, right? And so then we put our condition in there. So we're going to go ahead and put this in here. I know it looks a little bit smashed. Let me go ahead and make this a little bit bigger here. And then at the end of this line is where we're going to put this else. So we'll say if age is greater than or equal to 18, this is what's going to be happening if it is true. Else, well, what do we want? You are a minor. And again, if we look at our notes, it says the ternary operator is a conditional operator that returns a value. And so this is the value that it's returning if it's true. So I always think of this, hey, we're on a balance scale here, and whatever's on the left side will happen if it becomes true, if this statement here is true. Otherwise, whatever it will happen, it will fall down in the else clause here. So let's go ahead and save this. Let's run this. We're not going to see any difference in our console. We forgot to print it, so let me go ahead and print the message, and then we'll save that and run it. You are an adult. If I change this to 14, save it, and we're going to go ahead and run it. You are a minor. So again, it's a real quick one-line zinger that kind of sets us up, and it's almost like human readable too. And that's what I love about this is you're an adult if your age is greater than or equal to 18, else or otherwise you are a minor. Now, you are able to continue this on and daisy chain on some more things, but it is frowned upon from a developer's point of view because it's not going to read properly. So if you are getting into daisy chaining these ternaries, it would not be wise as far as a code review goes. All right, so let's go ahead and take this just a little bit further with a little more practice with a ternary. And I have a little miniature challenge here for us. So say that we're at a school and we're writing some software, and the passing grade for this class or this school is getting a 50 or above. We're going to set the student's current grade to be 80, and we would like you to utilize a ternary to determine whether or not they are passing. Now, we don't want you to print it. We just want to be true or false. So let's kind of go through this together with this little miniature challenge here. Again, we're going to set up our initial grade value. We're going to set that equal to 80. All right, so that part's easy. Now, the next thing that we would like to do is let's set up a new variable called isPassing. And again, we're going to set this up in a way where it gives us a Boolean, whether that be true or false. So if we say that we want true on the left, if, again, we're just trying to write this as if we were reading it in English, you are passing, it's true that you are passing if your grade is above or equal to 50. Otherwise, you're not passing. It's false, right? So that is our statement. And so we can go ahead and test this out. We're going to print isPassing, save it, and I'm going to highlight this and run it. And we get back true, you are passing. Now, let's go ahead and write out some if statements to reinforce what we've learned before. And here is our stipulations for the next part here. So evaluate the student's grade. If the student has passed, go ahead and print out student passed. Otherwise, print out the following, which is in the future here, we're going to be talking about other things, but hey, these are some things that we need to do. We need to email the parent, we need to notify the principal, and we can notify the teacher because we're writing this code as soon as someone has inputted the grade of this student. If they are failing, we would like to have all these notifications to go out based upon the evaluation of their grade. So let's go ahead and do that with an if statement. So we learned that we could type out if isPassing is true, then I want to do the following. I want to print out that the student has passed. Else, well, what do we want to do? Well, we want to email the parent, we want to notify the principal, and we want to notify the teacher. Now, maybe once you have typed this all out, go ahead and pause the video and say, hey, is there a way that this could be refactored, still keeping it an if statement based upon what we talked about earlier with the logical operators? Well, hopefully you realize that this part right here is not necessary, and we could totally remove it and it would still have the same meaning. And let's go ahead and go through this logically, line by line. We're evaluating it, whether it's true or false. We realize by printing it out to our console, it is in fact true. If isPassing is true, go ahead and print out student has passed. Otherwise, we want to go down this rabbit hole. So we're going to go down this one, right? So if I go ahead and save everything and highlight this and run it, it says student has passed. Perfect. Well, let's go ahead and change the score up here to a 20. We can save it, highlight it, and run it. Turns out it's false. Now we're going to email the parent, notify the principal, notify the teacher. All right. So hopefully you ended up getting that little miniature challenge. Again, it's just going to be all about repetition, repetition, repetition when we're trying to go over these. Once we start getting into our projects that we're going to have here for the chapters, you're going to get a lot more practice with this. And that way you're able to meet with your tutor, meet with your mentor to go over these to re-solidify all of this. All right, so we'll see you in the next video.